Hello everyone and welcome to Book Reviews with Mr. Elrod. Today we're going to be looking at a book that I've read recently, and I think it really goes along well with the human geography course, so I really think that this is a book that would be worth your time to pick up and read. Now, you may not necessarily agree with everything that the author, Tim Marshall, has to say, but I really think that he'll cause you to think a little bit more deeply about some of the topics, especially those in political geography. So the book that we're looking at today is called Prisoners of Geography, 10 Maps That Explain Everything About the World. Tim Marshall is a reporter for Britain's Sky News Television. He's been all over the world as a journalist and a reporter, has been in a variety of different countries and a variety of different conflicts. And so his perspective of geography and the way that it's going to influence political situations and conflicts is relatively unique. And so within the course, we talk really about three different philosophies or ideas on how the environment or how people are going to interact with the environment, how that's going to influence their decisions, and also how it's going to influence their development as a culture. We talk about what's called environmental determinism, we talk about possibilism, we talk about cultural determinism. For the most part, people within the realm of human geography have kind of thrown environmental determinism out the window. Well, Tim Marshall seems to bring us back a little bit to that idea of environmental determinism, really making a case for the fact that the environment is really going to shape kind of the defensive borders that countries set up for themselves, and we can see that throughout history, and he would even argue in our modern world. I'm going to read for you an excerpt from the book that I think is really good and kind of sets the tone for the book and might pique your interest in the book as well. This is from the introduction. It says, "The land on which we live has always shaped us. It has shaped the wars, the power, politics, and social development of the peoples that now inhabit nearly every part of the earth. Technology may seem to overcome the distances between us in both mental and physical space, but it is easy to forget that the land where we live, work, and raise our children is hugely important, and that the choices of those who lead the 7 billion inhabitants of this planet will to some degree always be shaped by the rivers, mountains, deserts, lakes, and seas that constrain us all, as they always have." So like I said, those are some pretty big claims by Tim Marshall in the very beginning. I think he does a good job of outlining the book relatively nice and orderly. He says 10 maps that tell us everything about the world. So basically what he does is he looks at 10 regional maps, and then he kind of hones in on some of the key characters and players within that particular region. So the very first map that he looks at is Russia, and he talks about the geography of Russia to the west and to the east, how that influences some of Russia's decisions today, how it's influenced Russia's decisions in the past, and how we can possibly see some of the future events and future decisions that countries like Russia might make as we look forward and we talk about potential geopolitical conflicts and issues that might arise in the future. So again, you can see a lot of application to the course, even right there in the introduction, talking about things like space-time compression, improvements in transportation, information technology, globalization, bringing things together. So I really think it's a good book. I really think that it'll cause you to stop and think. Again, you may not agree with everything that he has to say. It's a relatively easy read, only a couple of hundred pages. Each chapter is relatively short. Again, you're looking at 10 maps plus the introduction, 11 chapters or so, plus a conclusion at the end where he kind of wraps everything up nicely, neatly, and basically to the effect of, here's all these things I've laid out for you. Now, where do we go from here? So again, good, easy read, really applicable to the human geography course. May not necessarily be in your mainstream in terms of what we would consider the ideas within the course, but I really think that it'll be worth your time and worth your read. So I hope you found that to be helpful. I hope you pick up the book, and if you do, I hope you enjoy it, and certainly feel free to leave me some comments on your thoughts on the book after you're done. So I hope you found that to be helpful, and as always, I hope to see you next time. So clearly kind of a tall order that Tim Marshall has set for himself. Tim Marshall is a reporter for Big Sky News in Great Britain. Britain's Sky News Television. Tim Marshall is a reporter for Sky News. Tim Marshall is a reporter for Britain's Sky News.